games left at ESL One Birmingham, and that will be trimmed to just 4 by the end of the night. Is the end of the night just one game away? Because right now, OG lead by a game to 0 over Fnatic. The race for the semi-finals concludes after the next match, or potentially the one after that if we get a third. And that's the question I'm going to ask you guys. Are we going to get a third game in here? Are we going to see Fnatic bounce back? They've traditionally not done well having to come from behind. They like leading from the front, Alan.
Well, I mean, it depends on whether you're talking in-game or in a series, because in games, they seem plenty confident. I really think that Fnatic can make some pretty minor adjustments and play against this OG team. Like I said, I think it's, in a way, I think it's a really good matchup for OG, because Fnatic they fall into these passive spells, but I do think the skill of Fnatic is such that they fix their drafting issues, they're fine. Yeah.
Will, agree, disagree? What would you like to see from Fnatic as well?
I think they just need to draft more playmakers. I feel like that game was almost
their
entirely...
style.
Exactly. They just needed their supports to do a little bit too much that game. We often talk about it, at least in the pro scene, it's like you're putting pressure on your players to perform. Like they have to overperform in a game like that. Like DJ had to do even more as a clockwork. And that's unreal because he already played so well. What more can you ask from him at that point? You need somebody else to step up, play a playmaker. That's why Envy, I think, decided to go for that early BKB because he was like, I probably need a fight because my Ember is so behind. Right. But they were all just put into an awkward position as a result of the draft.
But they had a good draft though, didn't they?
I think so, but I think in hindsight, their ability to start a fight was a little bit weak. Right. They only had the clockwork hookshot, and for the most part, they couldn't always burst fly with the egg. And that was always going to be the target, and that's an issue when you have to all-in try to kill a 5-position hero with everything you've got.
Yeah, I mean, Envy had the first BKB in the game. He got it at 19 minutes, but by that time, his supports are already 4 and 5 levels behind the enemy supports. I mean, we're talking about already going toward a level 2 egg. It's hard enough what Will's talking about if you're initiating that Phoenix of equal level, but once he's got that level 2 egg up, it makes a huge difference in terms of survivability.
Ted? Give us some fun here. We've
You
got the
can't
potential.
just do that, Paul.
No,
you can't
we've
just
got...
say be fun.
No, I'm not asking you to just be fun, because you're naturally funny anyway.
Well, thank you.
But give us something fun to look forward to in the draft. Do you want to see, the likes of a Techies or a Meepo? Are you that kind of guy?
Yes,
Brilliant.
very much. I honestly, I think, how many majors have OG won, William?
I think they won...
Isn't it 4?
It is 4.
Is it 4?
It is.
4 majors.
It is 4.
And we're questioning whether they can beat Fnatic. The boys have got this on lockdown. That's it.
Have they just been cruising
2-0.
then? Is that what's happened? They've been
They're
cruising
just
the whole season. They're just like letting everyone else win. And,
they're lulling.
And then come right at the end of the season just to
give
show
nothing
them.
away and then boom,
So they
sucker
just
punch.
turn it on.
Yeah.
Amazing. How have we missed this, gents?
I don't know. You're not watching the same way.
We're watching, period.
You're watching, but I'm watching with X-ray specs.
I was going to say, I don't know if we're watching the same games, Ted.
I watch. Not as much as you guys do, but you'd be surprised.
I'm kidding.
I don't think I would be surprised. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, Alan, there are some oddities that these two can break out, and we haven't seen a great deal of those at this tournament. It's been fairly meta, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think when you start off with best of ones, the teams naturally get a little bit conservative. We've always, historically, we've talked about best of ones as the time for cheese strats, but I actually think this season it's been different. And when you're in best of ones and then into the elimination matches so quickly, I think the teams have shut it down, gone a little bit more mainstream. But I still think we've seen some really great matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. But we definitely aren't seeing the Meepos. We definitely aren't seeing the Broods or the Huskars. But all of those are in the mix between these two teams. It should be said. We should keep an eye out on that. And we are underway in our second draft. No difference in terms of the band so far.
No,
I don't think we're expecting anything differently, are we?
I would not be surprised if the drafts are relatively similar. I think Fnatic might pull out like maybe their Nature's Prophet, maybe like Mineski did yesterday. Right. That's something that that's a look that they've shown as well. Maybe a little more global presence to disrupt those lanes. Like OG just felt like they had way too easy a time in the static 2-1-2 in the last game.
Alan, you'll know this. Right?
That.
Or you should. Or I'll be disappointed. Okay, I'm not putting any pressure on you.
No
Has it ever happened where there's been a series where you've had identical drafts in back-to-back games? Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Both teams completely the same?
I can't, maybe not completely. I know there's been the same 5 heroes versus 5 heroes in back-to-back games.
Joined
I couldn't tell you the
tournament.
Joined Dota the defense?
Tournament, yeah.
Can you remember the teams?
Empire versus...
I love Will's brain.
I can't believe you remember this.
Maybe, I think it was actually Empire versus OG.
Really?
Yeah.
Back to back.
Back to
Yesterday,
back.
by the way.
Both teams picked the same lineup.
Ted.
Yeah, I think 10 heroes.
Ted, yesterday, we had 3 bans.
Right.
3 bans, same.
Right.
First 3 picks, same. First 3 picks, same.
Yeah, I
and I
love
thought,
that.
oh, we're going to get one of the... Oh, and then this point, they went completely different.
The
last 2
Rampage
picks.
deny all over again.
It's all S4's fault. So, first pick, where we going? Oh, there's an Omni ban this time round for OG.
Oh, wow, Bounty Hunter's in the pool. Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
So they banned Lone Druid over the Phoenix. So they probably thought the Lone Druid gave them more issues than the Phoenix did, even though Phoenix destroyed them that game. So, oh, and they've taken the Sank. So
Yep,
they
that's
thought
the
he was a
safe
pain in the ass as well.
Yep, it's a fairly safe opening. We've been seeing this for a number of months now. It's nothing new.
He's just a great hero.
Yep. Good toolkit. Provides a bit of everything.
Because the thing is, I think we saw a couple of times, if you have him combined with someone else, his stun and ult with a stun on top from someone else is enough to kill a lot of people. They killed the Ember with it top. He's so good like that.
And Will, it's kind of the perfect opener in many ways, isn't it? It's non-committal. It can go in different lanes. Different players can play.
Yeah, it's a really safe one. I think it pairs a little bit more too, just because it's a nice initiation. You can put it in the off lane if you necessarily need to.
I do want to talk about this Night Stalker though, Will, because a lot of teams are banning this first phase. I think Pain have banned it every single game this tournament so far.
It's like something about that hero feels absurd right now.
Right.
Like he matches up well with any of the 4 or 5 positions because he's so fast on the map. Like once it hits nighttime, he bullies almost every other 4 and 5 position. They just can't keep up with him. His right click is really nice. The amount of HP that he has, good armor. He's just a really tanky 4. You don't have to
Screws
play...
the enemy team's vision as well, right? Like
Exactly.
that's so big.
And more importantly than that, he threatens really hard. Like when you're any sort of mobile core, like the heroes that Abed likes to play, for a large part of this game, this Night Stalker is going to threaten you.
What do you think here, Gyro? Or do they actually take the bounty? Give you vision of the Night Stalker?
For Fnatic, then they would have SK Bounty.
I've seen it done. Fnatic is not really a bounty team, which is maybe why OG choose to leave in the pool. They've only run it once in the last 3 months.
Yep.
And then, okay, I like that. So that was the other adjustment that that I was going to talk about from the last game. The playmakers that Will was talking about. This is a great example. I believe Universe most games all time on Darkseer. It's one of the most played player hero combinations, and Darkseer is just. He's a bit like Doom right now in a way that he can keep he's even better in terms of lane shove, and he can get that Helm of the Dominator, Crimson Guard, and pipe up super early, be that frontliner in these fights.
Do you want to know what my favourite stat about the Darkseer is right now? Fnatic are 9-0 on Darkseer in the last 3 months.
And the funny thing about it is that Universe still claims that he hates the hero.
Yes, doesn't like playing.
He still claims he hates playing it.
They're also 10-1 with Sanking, so this is a very strong opening for Fnatic.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning with the DJ's record on these two supports, the Tusk and the Sand King. But that's the thing. I mean, we would have said that Fnatic would have had the team fight advantage in the last draft, right? But the problem is when the 2 supports get that under-leveled, so much of that gets nullified.
I think anytime someone that you're asking to initiate is underleveled, you're in big trouble
Yeah,
because
that's
they're
absolutely right.
probably going to die. Spectre that.
No, I mean at one point in that game, I believe you had a Tranquil Boots earn clockwork going into a Blink Force Sand King. It's just that's not going to work.
My eyesight might be bad and that might be small, but is that an Oracle?
That's an Oracle ban.
Yeah.
Yes, this is OG we're talking about. You were the one that mentioned it yourself, Paul.
I did. Yeah, I know.
The cheese, baby.
Yeah.
And by the way, you ban Oracle because of the Darkseer ban.
Yeah.
That's the big purges the Iron Shell.
The Iron Shell. It's the worst thing ever.
I guess it also means that it's makes the Huskar a little bit harder as well.
And it's also just a hero that, along with the Phoenix, that Fly really likes.
Yeah, he's quite odd, isn't he? Hero-wise, Fly. In comparison to other players, he does play them a little bit out there. No one else is playing the Phoenix.
Well, he's the one that's he's most of the time he's the happy typical captain. Play your 5s. Oh God, no.
Hell yeah!
Remove that man.
No. Security.
Security to the Techies fan. Security to the Techies fan.
I'm just kidding. I'd love to see Techies.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I don't know what Alan's on about.
Lycan, similar principle to the Lone Druid of the last game. That'll be most likely no tail.
Yeah.
Get that early book 3 up.
I think Fnatic would have taken it
Fnatic's
Dear.
draft has a very pointy heads at the moment, so
It's
is
nice.
true.
The pointy head draft.
we could pick another pointy
Yeah,
head
who's
hero.
left in the pointy head pool?
If you take
Does Coddle count? Because the hat?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Do you know, Ted, you're like this. Ever since Bruno did the no legs,
Right.
Oh, hey!
I've looked for it.
What?
And another pointy head.
That's pretty pointy. He's got
Yeah, he's
2
got
points,
3
and it's
points.
pointy in the middle.
Yeah,
Ted, you're onto something here.
I'm
My
telling you.
God. Straight out of the
You've cracked
pointy
the
head
code.
playbook. Unbelievable. This is what they got Aoi in for, this kind of insight. Get a pointy head draft going, guys.
Yeah, ever since Bruno did the no legs draft, I've looked for that.
What I really liked the other day was PPD talking about this hero in the post-game interview, talking about
He
the
loves
fact.
this hero. He thinks it's great.
So the funny thing is, right, the book on Undying for, 3 years has been that this hero is dominant in the laning phase and just falls off flat about 20 minutes.
But actually, if you just run in
And Peter was talking about you take the tombstone on death
Right, right,
talent,
right.
you run in, get
Yeah.
your tombstone off, get another one off when you
Yeah.
die.
yeah, I think he quite enjoyed playing it the other day. So, where do OG go now?
But Fnatic are lacking a lot of push at the moment in terms of tower pushing. OG have that with DP and Lycan, so I think Fnatic definitely need something that can take buildings.
Just the one single game on the Undying for Fnatic since 7-1-1, and it was a win.
I think Fnatic would really like to take the Lycan themselves, though.
Yep.
It's
Wow.
nice against a Night Stalker. When he makes a Knight, you just get the free howl.
And that's another hero that I would have liked to have seen
Oh
against
my
the Lycans.
goodness.
He can get run
I don't
at,
think
but
we're going to be seeing any of him.
no.
No pudges here, sadly.
How do you know what? How do you know he was?
Use your imagination, Ted. Could have been a Timbersaw, I guess.
There we go.
Kind
there
of
we
a
go.
kind of a pointy head.
This is exactly what Fnatic lacked in the last game in terms of a support, a tanky core that's going to give you that mid-game BKB timing. It's going to lock down the mid lane. It's going to be able to play in the front lines of the fight. You know, obviously Underlord is supposed to do that, but what's he going to do by himself? You know, Dragon Knight can actually initiate.
I swear to God, Ted, if this 5th pick is a pointy head,
Well, oh, that's your leg. Sorry. Well,
Dude, Spectre count? Does Spectre count?
huh?
As a pointy head, Spectre count?
banned.
He's banned.
Oh, it's
sadly,
banned.
so-
Oh no.
I think
tried.
the Disruptor Night Stalker combo is nice because he can get the vision, right? Like he can give them the extra vision for the glimpse, catch people, they glimpse them back. Very hard to get away with Disruptor Night Stalker. Lycan will run you down. Looking at the chase for Fnatic at the moment, I think if they can, they've got fast heroes in Lycan and DP, Night Stalker. If they can keep them locked down near the tombstone, that's fine. But I think OG could just run away if they don't like the fight.
I'm not sure what you take here if you're Fnatic. Because I think you would have really liked the Lycan, and the next option would have been the Spectre, and both of those are taken away.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see OG taking the gyro off the board that I actually thought Fnatic might have been looking at in the first phase.
So they made bad. So
Luna's still,
CK.
oh boy.
Wow.
Pointy head.
I mean, I'm not saying I called it, but
I can't believe this has happened.
Ted's a god.
called the first game, called the draft in the second game, and they call me an amateur.
Did you say the CK?
Pointy head draft.
I said pointy head draft.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And it's 5 pointy heads.
No, but I didn't say CK. That would have been hype, right?
That would have been amazing.
Impressed.
So OG, if you wanted to get really cute, you could go back for this offlane. You could relegate this Lycan back to the offlane and pick a Medusa. But I think that's too greedy. I think you keep it more basic now.
They're gonna have an offlane one. How is the Abaddon here?
It's okay.
Eh,
You need stuns right now that pressure the lane.
yeah.
You need something that can go dual.
Medusa.
Okay,
Got it.
nice
Got it.
call, Alan. Very nice call. And we do get a Medusa game from
Holy cow.
OG. What do you know?
I like this.
So, pointy versus...
I don't know.
turn to stun.
I don't know what.
I don't know what that one is, but lots of
I mean, this is exactly the same draft model that OG used in game one. We're going to pick 3 cores that are all
Yep.
very hard to gank. We're very comfortable with easy mid-game timings.
Yep.
I got to favor him here.
Okay, so OG for you?
I mean, OG, I said already, yeah. OG,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't believe in the pointy draft?
I think it might have its day.
Is this man's
may
head
be it.
pointy?
Yeah, exactly. I
Might
can't
be.
back a pointy-headed drop.
Will.
I think I can confidently pick Fnatic here. I feel like they have a lot more playmakers on this side. As long as they don't get overrun in the lanes, I think they should be fine.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Time then for our second game in this quarterfinal. Are OG on their way to the semis, or can Fnatic bring it back? Let's find out as we head back to our commentary team.
Yes, we will find out. Will it be Fnatic? Will said they have the ability to make the plays. They've got the heroes to do it. They've got the players to do it as well. Purge, do they have the draft to do it? The panel seemed a little bit split.
Yeah, I think there's points on both sides that are good. The Medusa is a wonderful counter against Chaos Knight. It's got one of the biggest matchup advantages just because you deal lots of AoE damage, so you can kill the illusions. You're super tanky, and you're not affected by minus armor nearly as much because of the way that Mana Shield works. And if the CK looks at you too long, your Stone Gaze instantly one-shots the illusions. And if you really want to deal with them, you can also buy an Axe as well, which will also let your Snake one-shot them. So there's lots of ways to deal with the CK. Ultimate is, and that's usually the area of the game where Chaos Knight is actually strong. But like Blitz pointed out, Fnatic's heroes are way better at ganking and rotating across the map. I think somebody on the panel, Mayman Haas, said that the OG draft picking Medusa would be a little bit too greedy, and I kind of agree with that as well, because a Lycan and a Death Prophet are okay at sometimes rotating, but having a Medusa as the other third hero means that their ability to move around, set tempo, is a little bit weak.
Yeah, how do we actually, so we talk about Fnatic, like, with their rotations, everything else. There was one hero which was slightly touched upon by the panel, which was the Night Stalker. Liz said, like, this hero feels kind of ridiculous right now. How does this work with the rotations of OG? How does Jirax make the same level of influence that he made with the SK in the last game?
Night Stalker is certainly good at ganking, but it's slightly more utility. He's tanky, he can silence you, he can nuke you usually twice per gank, but that's about it. So it's more of like a set up the team fight kind of thing while adding some disable, but he's not so much a strong damage dealer. So that means if Lycan has his ultimate, he fits into all this fine. He's going to be fast, he's going to deal a lot of damage. But Death Prophet is a little bit limited to using ideally Exorcism and ganks or Spirit Siphon, and Medusa is not very good at following up on ganks as well. So it's kind of a situational thing for OG, whether or not it'll work.
Good luck to JJ right now. You're going to have Darkseer as well as SK try and contest the bottom room while up on top. Pylai Die being forced away. Thunderstrike as well as Mystic Snake already done a lot of work. Trouble for S4. Spirit Siphon not giving enough life. Eternal Envy gains the first blood. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, the Iron Shell Burrow Strikes are going to work. No-Tell, he's burning under these Iron Shells. Jirax tried to create more space, got Void off cooldown in 1 second time. They just turned their attention, not underneath the tower towards Jirax, but close enough. But Lycan, he has the Feral Impulse. So he'll sit behind the tower, munch on a tree, and then just get back into the laning phase. Only one death.
Yeah, he'll be fine here. Lots of tangos, 3 sets of regen for him, so he just has to focus on getting as many last hits and denies as possible. This will be very similar to Lycan earlier today, where he's against the lane that's going to harass him a lot. He just needs to out last hit and regen through it. The pretty big mistake, though, for S4 going down. They thought they were going to be able to get a kill on Undying there, but he didn't start his Spirit Siphon before he got stunned by Envy, and as a result, he was way too low by the time he did cast it, and they end up going down.
They'll have to do a lot of work to repair that. That's why Fly's on this top lane as well, to try and keep Pylai Die out of the lane, or at least off the back of S4.
That's the nice thing about Undying. He was played a little bit in the group stage. He just stabilizes your lanes because he steals a lot of health. Oh, look at that damage here.
Yeah, S4, he has to start the Spirit Siphon to get a little bit more life. Couple of stick charges up the sleeve as well. Fly got another Thunder Strike available. S4, he's just waiting it out. Another decay. They'll come close to the tower. The stun will last long enough. Pylai Die, 16 strength stolen through decay. He is with plus 77. He will not be able to survive, however.
Well,
as Fly does the work.
At least they get the return kill on OG's side, but they've got to be a little upset with how this is going so far.
They're diving bottom so hard. DJ, he doesn't have Burrow Strike yet. 1 second, then he can consume the Mango and then go for it. There it is, the Burrow Strike out. No-Tell doesn't have the regeneration, surviving. There's a full creep wave still under the tower, looking towards Jirax. Universe will just creep, skip it out, and keep this pressure consistently on the bottom lane.
Well, on the bright side, Jirax gets level 2 at least. That'll be nice in about 2 minutes, but so far this is the best way to deal with this. They just cut the creep wave with Iron Shells and 2 melee heroes, and then that means No-Tail to defend creeps under tower. So
nice of Jirax to cancel. So Universe has no more consumables apart from 1 Clarity, but he just bought a Soul Ring.
That's one little advantage they get. On the bright side on the mid lane, they've got 12 last hits on the Medusa. It's about equal with Abed though. So fairly even farming here.
I don't think anyone really wants to gank the mid, right? Like there's no real kill that comes from a heavy rotation merely zoning.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And I mean, mana drain against Dragon Knight is not the best anyways because he has a low mana pool. So this is one of the better matchups I think you could get for a Dragon Knight.
TJ's having a little bit of fun with Jirax. Got the Arcane Rune, so Burrow Strike's a lot more efficient for him at the moment. That's why he started the harassment already, and once again we have almost a full creep wave allowing Fnatic to go underneath the tower. They saw Jirax move up into the trees.
They're a little limited on mana here. The Soaring hasn't been delivered yet, so if they had a second Iron Shell there, maybe they go for the dive, but for now, just going to stabilize a little bit. S4 is up to 7 last hits versus the 11-3 of Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight a hero that doesn't end up being super strong late unless he gets ahead, or at least is about equal, because he doesn't farm as fast naturally, so he needs to make sure that he has a good laning stage. That way he can be competitive against the difficult matchup of Medusa later on.
I love watching Death Prophets walking around with just over 300 HP when Decay continues to connect from Pylai Die. He'll need some mana to keep sustaining this, however. Can't keep burning through mangoes even if they are very efficient these days.
And that's what's so nice about this, is that it's just constantly a threat because Envy has a big stun here and some damage attached to it. They can run their opponents down. Death Prophet actually can't defend himself very well against this. It's just an ideal situation to be in.
No tell. He walked into DJ thinking he could harass him down pretty heavily, but it goes the other way when DJ has that level 2 Iron Shell on him.
Just makes Sand King so much stronger here. He's got 2 points in Feral Impulse, at least he's got 3 HP regen per second, but still got to be very careful, especially now that he's out of health regen.
Yep. Sit behind the tower. Have some wolves to fight for the cause as Jirax as well as DK make a run for the rune. Abed will take it. Jirax knows he doesn't want to fight this, but he at least wants to keep the attention of Abed there while Dusa takes care of the mid lane.
Yeah, this is fine for him to do. He's very likely to go back to base anyway.
Those stuns. Jirax, pre-fire as well. He's going to mango and go for another void, but Abed, he had the damage.
And that was all basically the courier delivering the Soul Ring. I mean, he was looking at his mana pool. Instantly, the Soul Ring comes, he gets mana, he gets everything off. So a bit of a mistake, though, by Jirax. He didn't necessarily need to trade there.
They're adding pressure on bottom. Burrow Strike onto Notel. And, well, Jirax back to World of Living and TP down to bottom. Creates that space for Notel to survive. And they're looking towards the Darkseer, but Void, he's just not in range for it. So instead, it's over towards DJ. Cast it on him.
It's a little dangerous.
Nothing more to come.
He's got a Burrow Strike, but the Iron Shell's gone. So maybe they can get this kill, but Jirax CP'd bottom so fast he didn't have a moment to purchase any regen, and now everyone's still tough.
Pylai Die trying to run out. Okay, TP, yeah, will work, but a point and glimpse. Fly was saving it for a rainy day. And it is raining on Pylai Die's head. Of course, do they still have the damage for this? Okay, you go down the Crypt Swarm in a second, but Decay hits on 2. He'll put down the Tombstone. Support comes in from Envy. S4. He had 452 HP, and that just seemed way too easy for CK to crit through it.
Pi picks up the level 4, throws the Soul Rip out for the damage, and he had a 9-stick that whole time, so constantly ready for these fights. And this off lane or dual lane Death Prophet really is dangerous versus the Undying because she just doesn't naturally have a huge amount of health and she won't build into it for a bit. So he's just creating all these opportunities, and even though CK doesn't contribute that much damage in the laning stage, it's more than enough when his HP is this low.
There is so much money coming on the courier towards the mid lane, and most of it's coming in for Abed. So welcome to Soul Ring. Headdress is there for Universe. So I'll have a long way to go. This courier trying to move between all the lanes. Speaking of that, Jirax is going for a bit of a run all the way from bottom up towards the top. And I think they realize they have to try and change around the balance of this top lane, especially when it's first nighttime cycle. Jirax needs to have more of an influence against this Fnatic lineup.
Yeah, and Fnatic OG is definitely struggling in this laning stage now. They've kind of just sacrificed No-Tail, but he is going to hold the lane a bit. So he'll just try to kill the creep wave as fast as possible, try to stay alive if he's got level 3 wolves at least, so he's got a lot of damage output. This could allow him to last hit while he hides his hero in the trees if needed. But he constantly has to be careful here, and if Sand King just buggers off and goes somewhere else, ganks the top lane for example, things get really dangerous again. So it's just a constant threat and not nearly as much lane control as he had last game.
Well, Jirax actually just wants to try and attack in towards that bottom, so yep, goes after Universe, who pulled the creep wave over. Slowed up a little bit by the neutrals. Jirax can't get the body block off, has the Void available, but with Universe having the 2 points up in Surge, he can run a decent way. And also, buy a little bit more time. DK rotates down as well. And I'll see him going thanks to that one Radiant creep.
No-Tail's going to spot him though.
Dragon Tail stun. SK's coming in close. That's a level 2. Notel, I don't think he's got time to actually go for the ultimate because then the Fire Strike's able to connect. Movement speed on the run. Regeneration's good enough. And Disruptor flies now coming down. A 3-man wall will be there. Night Stalker wanted to fly over the hill, but he couldn't get far enough away. So Darkseer, even with the Thunder Strike on him, there is not enough damage to get a rebuttal. Night Stalker will die for heavy rotations towards the bot lane. But Medusa is not one of them. She's still farming up strong.
This is the best that they could do with what they had. If Notel doesn't ulti there, the Dragon Knight chases him down, so he has to pop his ultimate, and then fortunately Jarek's getting caught as well as he rotates back in trying to help. So the pressure is just overwhelming from Fnatic right now. It's a 2K gold advantage, 6 kills for them. OG's gonna try to respond and pick up something here, but they're just scrambling to stabilize their lanes.
Yep.
The only person that's doing well on their team is he's level 8, almost 9 on Medusa. He's got 61 last hits. By far the leader in the game right now.
Yeah, his CS is absolutely wonderful. It's the fact you've also got the level progression onto this Medusa. He hasn't had to move off the lane. At the same time, when you say, like, okay, he's been sitting in the mid lane, Abed's rotation, he's, like, including this, he's now 300 gold in front net worth-wise above that of the DK. And you can see right here on our graph as well. Just looking towards that mid, that's where Medusa goes, bounce off to the sides just for the early fight. The rest of it is neutral camp and farming up. Notel, TP out, DJ, Fire Strike's already been used, he cannot cancel it. And Abed could not reach it in time, Fly walled him.
So it's kind of cool to see how Abed's doing these rotations. I mean, in that case he had a haste rune, so it's very easy to do, but he's just going to be putting his hero presence down here. Level 9, he's got Soul Ring and Treads. This is like the period of time where Dragon Knight's like impossible to kill. He's got so much health on his heroes, and the enemy support duo is not very high damage. Both Disruptor and Night Stalker are heavily utility, so he just rotates down here, he messes with his opponents, it's going to force the Lycan to leave, and then all they had to do was teleport any hero mid to defend against the Medusa, which they have done, and as a result, OG just loses out, and their tower's going to fall.
Yep. Is that when you look to see like S4 doing a little bit more pressure on top? He has Crypt Swarm available if he wants to level it. For now, he's holding it. And they're bringing Lycan up here too. So yeah, it looks like OG are looking for a little bit more aggression as Exorcism, is leveled up, not Crypt Swarm.
Envy is baiting with his illusion. This is insane. This is a 145-second cooldown ultimate here.
Yeah,
and he just baits him.
If they don't take the tower directly after this, they're going to be really, really annoying. 12 gold is what gets gained. It goes to S4.
Dude, that's amazing. He gets his ultimate off, he gets lucky and gets an extra illusion, so he keeps one to farm, and he puts the other one up there to try to bait good abilities out of his opponents. So
are they going to rotate to fight? They're coming underneath the
now.
Observer Ward, so OG knows what's coming. They're already starting their movement back. The illusion will now time out.
I mean, that's basically what he accomplished there. By that illusion being there, they thought, oh man, Envy's out of position, he's making a mistake. We can dive this, we can kill him, and if we do that, we guarantee the tower kill. So they pop their big ultimates, including Exorcism. They get the kill, but then it's illusion, and they realize we just wasted 20 seconds on an illusion while Envy is farming. We don't get the tower, and they knew that by the time they would have finished it, Fnatic could have just rotated all the heroes knowing their ultimates are on cooldown. This was like a super sick play by Envy here.
Never assume Envy is actually making a mistake. He cries wolf every now and then, gets caught out of position in late game, but in this case, it was a terrific play, and OG fell for it, and they hold their tier 1 tower for the moment. Fire Strike, Fly, a little bit of trouble for him. Notel's going to TP down. Not a lot of mana to work with, and with Universe still pushing the line, pushing the envelope, it's difficult for OG to defend.
And again, Lycan needs his ultimate to contribute to ganks because he's not going to be very fast yet. Yes, he's still farming all right. He's stabilized despite being in a really dangerous duel lane, but if that was any other carry that has any kind of lane contribution, they would have gone for a kill there. If it's a gyro, he jumps in, uses Rocket Barrage after they glimpse, but instead all he can do is make them walk away, and now they're just going somewhere else to get another gank.
Mid-fight time. Fnatic are forcing the issue. They've got 4 heroes here. The same thing can almost be said for OG.
Ooh, good snake.
Death Prophet as well as Lone Druid is out. That Mystic Snake causes problems for Fnatic. They don't really have a creep wave to work with, and they just lose so much mana and health. And Notel loves this. And we talked about how great Notel was when he played his Lone Druid previously, using the Baron, using this dominated creep to watch the side. Now he's got 2 Wolves to combine with the Alpha Wolf who's forcing the lane.
Yeah, this is the moment of the game that he's been waiting for the whole time, basically. Pushing out lanes, hiding in the shop area, he's going to be fairly safe doing this. And the other good thing going for OG is that with Medusa having this much farm, she's picked up her 10 perk, she has a Mask of Madness. That means if the dive comes and Fnatic is trying to take a team fight, they're going to have Stone Gaze, they're going to have Mask of Madness, right clicks that hit really hard.
Abed's coming back to fight in the mid lane, S4's nearby, who's got a stun? Anyone got a stun? No one's got a stun.
That would have been a huge kill there. And not only that, but he teleported the shrine. He was just going to farm, that's all. Nothing lost there.
I think Universe realizes he can't stand toe-to-toe with Lycan anymore. 3 points up in that Feral Impulse, he just starts beating the crap out of Universe.
Especially with the aura as well. He's basically increasing everybody's damage by like 80% with this helm.
And he managed to get the Alpha Wolf to slip out through the back of the bottom too after he TP'd. Turns his attention towards the top after adding pressure on bottom and forcing a rotation out from Fnatic.
So it feels like Fnatic had this huge lane advantage, but all of a sudden OG is stabilized in that. Like Lycan just got tons of farm pushing out the bot lane. They made sure that the mid tower didn't die with some smart denying. And now they actually, it takes so many resources for them to be able to kill Lycan, kind of similar to last game, except harder, because if he gets his ultimate off, he's out of there. Max movement speed, or more than max movement speed. It's like even more survivable than lone druid. So now OG is moving into their comfort zone where Fnatic doesn't have a big gold advantage.
And they're getting their strength items up. I'm looking at that Dragonlance almost completed for Seb. He's been spending the last couple of minutes just farming up the Ancient stack. Night Stalker, Jirax wants to try and make the most out of this nighttime. Might regret it. Eternal Envy pulls it back in. The 3-second stun is out. S4 knows he can't help. Except the fact the Night Stalker is dead. And they may have to accept their tier 2 tower will die as well as Arbed walks underneath the Obs ward to move south.
I mean, in the meantime, OG is pushing up the top lane. Fly's looking to glimpse him back here. There he goes, sends it back. This is huge.
That's the tier 2 tower. Oh, he Burrow Strike dodges it again, DJ!
Well, different player this time, but still super sick. That's such a huge play, because if he gets sent back, they're just going to super hard commit to hitting that building, because now they know Sand King can't be there. Somebody else on Fnatic would have to TP back, and they lose this little momentum with this play. So amazing timing there with the Burrow Strike.
Yeah, that's the Annie get your gun. Anything you can do, I can do better moment. Tier 2 tower drops on the bottom lane, so even though with the glimpse back, they did not take that top tower for OG, thanks to the stall of it. And Fnatic just continue to ensure they control this bottom lane. They'll love seeing the double damage rune and bot river too. Maybe not so love the fact that dragon form will be on cooldown for a while after they get it. But they have initiation with Shadowblade arrival.
And they can at least maybe Shadowblade look for a kill, and then they can spend time going for the Ancients instead. This is the huge play here. DJ comes back up to defend the tower. He goes for the glimpse. DJ actually looked to me like he was prepping for that the entire time.
Yep.
He TPs in, he stands there, he's waiting. He does not want to mess up the Burrow Strike, and he nails it. Gets to stay on the top lane and defend that push.
Arbed with that DD rune. Oh, he hit so hard. Goodbye, Disruptor. He actually taunted the door, the breathe fire.
Boy, did he. Maybe he's out of taunt money, and that was all he could accomplish there. It's the only way to taunt. Oh, Courier.
Courier, well, have to fortify it up. DJ under the cover of Sandstorm. They have no reveal for this.
It's very close to his Necro 1 at least, so his damage will be solid.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I actually really like about Chaos Knight this game is that they have another damage source, and it's Darkseer, so they can make his hero feel even more useful than normal. He's got Armlet ready. This is the item you need to make your hero do any damage, but they're going to follow him and go straight to where he's planning to farm. This is not good for Notel.
Yeah, they got the stuns, they got the pull back, and with the negative armor, Notel will fall. A 3-man gank, successful. While all this still happens, you still got the Medusa. She's so far ahead in net worth. I didn't realize that she's actually 2,000 ahead and continuously rising. Once Lincoln's comes up, initiating on her will be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, this is just the typical hero that's good at farming versus a team of heroes that aren't very good at farming. She just sits back, she does lots of AoE, and she hasn't been killed yet. She actually hasn't even participated in an enemy kill yet.
They're looking for the fight, go for the silence, onto the Darkseer. Dragon Tail stun from Arbed. Once again, Fly just wants to let an ulti off, and he'll actually get it. Wall and ulti, locking in the Dragon Knight, in with S4, who can finish the job. A nice streak to end. Further down the river, Eternal Envy on the run away from Jirax. Realizing this fight doesn't exist, instead it's actually in mid lane, Universe. Back to the tier 2 tower. Without that disruptor, they don't have the punishment of the glimpse.
They're not going to push any farther than this, though. I mean,
they don't need to, right? Like, they got Lycan on the top lane farming.
That's true. And they traded a support for a enemy Dragon Knight. That's going to be a great grab there. So they're not too upset.
Fnatic want to fight?
They've got a blink on Sand King, by the way. They just found the Ancients that got cleared.
Oh, God.
Not able to spot the Medusa.
Not just cleared, it's another stack. Like, it was actually stacked up for the Medusa.
Good snag by
They may have trouble on top lane. Notail does not have TP scroll. He does not have wolf form. Once they see this, they realize what's going on. Epicenter being prepared, blink in. Burrow Strike and follow up. Universe with the Iron Shell burns. They have the dead Lycan.
Yep, they saved the Burrow Strike just in case he's going to go for a teleport. He didn't have it available, but they didn't know that. But it's very easy for Notail to buy out at least, so that's not the worst thing in the world that he ends up going down there.
Yeah.
What they need to do is, on OG's side, just make sure that Death Prophet gets relatively tanky so that she can survive if she's being focused on. Like something like getting into duels relatively fast, or an Aeon Disc after.
Oh, here we go again. Dusa with Mask of Madness. She's taking the Ancient stack. They have an Observer Ward down, so they know they're safe. If Undying wants to rotate over, welcome to Night Stalker. You'll actually have Dusa farming while killing. Tombstone on the high ground. They know how this will play out. Where's that Stone Gaze? Has to be triggered. Fnatic stormed up. They get the lock in, but only on Arbed, clipping a Pylai die. But there's not enough damage from Medusa. This will open up for the Burrow Strike to catch two. Back and back in. They didn't have the best control, however, but they've got the tankiness. Medusa, the shield, they'll burn through it. Envy even makes more of himself to ensure it. Everyone else from OG wants to retreat. Stealing the Ancients would have been massive for them.
It would have been
got
huge,
half of it, I think.
But I think Seb is just getting a little bit too much confirmation bias from how successful he was with the previous Ancient. Oh, and now we're going to see Fly get picked up by Abed, instantly getting the kill, shifting all the way to the mid lane, and instantly grabbing another support kill. So this tower is going to take some damage. But they definitely stayed way too long there. The Tomb on the high ground made things hard to engage. And ultimately, as soon as you pop your Dusa ultimate, people are going to walk away from you. But with Universe coming from the side, he was able to catch and get the follow-up disable. And something, we've seen this combo before, Darkseer with Sand King. Fnatic do this super well. Every vacuum is going to be a Burrow Strike, and it's going to be 2 heroes stunned on the enemy team. And that's going to make it really hard for OG to fight.
Eternal Envy denies the top tower. No money for No-Tail. Only lane positioning. He's going to lose his Dominating Creep too, so you get no money for the tower, and Envy gets the goal for the Dominating Creep in towards mid. Stun onto S4. Friends need to be nearby. They are for Fnatic. They are not for OG. Finally, that Eul Scepter is there, but it comes just a second too late.
And Abed is just putting work in. He's just constantly pressuring around the map. With the Shadow Blade and the Soul Ring, and he went the mana perk as well. He actually has enough mana to afford to move around getting these kills. Look at this, he's been all over the map.
Yep.
He's the guy that's winning this game for Fnatic. I mean, it's 14-2, and he's just the one that's getting all the kills. He's setting these up.
The Lycan Wolf is watching. Jirax is nearby. Death Prophet's up in just a couple of seconds. They want to protect these stacks and also farm up the Tombstone if possible.
It's a good bit of gold if you can snag it in time.
Well, they got 6 seconds. They have the time. Money goes into the hands of Jirax.
Incredible stat. My life is better knowing this.
I like how he gets to include in the history of Dota while I'm casting a game. Thanks, Nox. Thank you very, very much.
Necro 2 on the way for Lycan at least, so pretty soon he's going to better be able to deal with these Invis heroes in team fights. But it seems like the Shadow Blade is really the one thing that's creating space on the map. But with that said, there's been a lot of smoke usages on Fnatic in the last couple of minutes, and I imagine they're a bit limited. And they need to continue getting these smoke gang kills because, again, their heroes are not going to outfarm heroes like Lycan and Medusa. And that's why OG's kind of just playing passively for now, because they don't have the best gankers, but they do have better farmers. They've got better matchups in the late game because of the Medusa versus both Undying Tombstone and against the CK.
It seems like also the easiest way for OG, like you hold high ground, your high ground defense is wonderful for them, and it's very punishing if it goes badly for Fnatic, thanks to having a Disruptor pickup. But then you have Lycan building Necro Books. Lycan can just melt through a lane so quickly if Fnatic are down.
And
so
same thing
one disastrous fight's going to hurt.
Same thing if you've got Exorcism ready. You can just instantly take towers, take Roshan, something like that.
They're looking towards bottom lane.
The pressure's finally here. Envy might get caught.
He used Rift to farm up the range creep, and then, well, yep, Eul's up, brought back down again to the Storm Wall. Eternal Envy, he gets into the trees. Will he survive? It's the Crimson Guard that arrive, but it's not going to be enough. Retreat back out again as Dusa moves forward. They'll take the tower. There's your glimpse. This is that punishment I was talking about. The Disruptor is so good at. And it's Arbed, the big superstar of Fnatic. 3 heroes down. The danger zone is here. Kenny Loggins pushing up through the bottom lane.
Worst case scenario for Fnatic. The fact that they catch the CK like that guarantees his death. He picks up an Echo Saber second item. If he's got a BKB
they go
there,
up. They
he
go
maybe
up,
doesn't
right?
die. But same with Abed. These guys just don't have BKBs, and they just made a huge mistake walking into the fight like that and getting killed one by one.
Look how hard they push with the Necro units behind it. This tier 3 tower, we're 21 minutes in and it's dying so quickly. If they just take this and back out without losing anything, which is exactly what they're going to do, they're fine. Darkseer wants to surge forward, but he got purged up. He can't even get his team into a position where they could possibly fight. OG, nothing lost, everything taken.
That was the biggest freebie game advantage I've seen in a long time. I mean, they instantly get a kill on the Chaos Knight with the Eul's into Static Storm combo. They followed up with the tier 1 tower dying, an Undying dying, and then they got a tier 2 at the same time glimpsing back the enemy mid. And then they also got that's 3 towers instantly and all the kills they wanted. 2K gold advantage. They've only got 5 kills, but it really doesn't matter if they're on this kind of a trajectory.
Look at Fnatic now. They're looking towards Roshan. No exorcism for a minute. You have Lycan, who is on bottom lane, just adding pressure, that's all. But yeah, they're going for Roshan. Fnatic wants something to get back into this game, and they're going to try and get it.
They should be able to snag this, no problem. Jerax can spot it, but I mean, they've got Undying Ultimate amplifying this. They've got a Medallion. They've got Reality Rift amplifying it.
Great Observer in Sentry to prep Fnatic for this fight. Darkseer's outside, and yep, OG will let him have it. Aegis the Immortal into the hands of the Chaos Knight. They have to make this work, but they have to repair their lanes as well. You've got Notel going in through the bottom, and it's a creep wave and a half going in through the top, giving Notel that ability just to creep skip it out. He starts his TP, lets the Wolves and the Necro units do the work. Darkseer actually can't stop this in time. They may lose the melee racks. Jerax will die as well. But this is that bottom range, bottom melee racks. One Necro Archer, 73 HP the racks is brought down to.
Crimson Guard buff, and that's the melee barracks. They actually might want to commit something to trying to kill that since it's so low, but I mean, either way, OG got a lot out of that fight. Not all bad. They did lose Jerax as well, but top tier 3s also took a lot of damage from a big push there.
Fnatic once again being split defense-wise against OG. So they had the Aegis Immortal, but like you've just wasted a minute of that Aegis time.
Well, I'm not so worried about the Aegis time. It's more like, it's interesting to watch how the tempo has gone. OG got a huge fight, they use their ultimates, they get a bunch of advantage. Fnatic knows that they just use their ultimates, so they commit their ultimates to kill Roshan. And now OG knows that Fnatic just used their ultimates, and now it's okay for them to pressure. So they may just go passive here as a result of the Aegis, but I honestly wouldn't even be that worried right now. Like, that's a CK Aegis. Who cares? He doesn't have his ultimate.
Is Medusa still stretching further ahead? Now almost a 5,000 net worth advantage over any of the other cores of Fnatic. Having Hurricane Pike, Mask of Madness, the Lincoln Sphere, and working towards the Eye of Skadi next.
Yep, he has played very defensive in terms of items, other than like the Mask of Madness, but he's been basically gone fully core, normal item build, and it's just giving him a big advantage.
You see the difference between him and that DK as well. Like, DK's been moving around, has been fantastic, but the effectiveness of Arbed starts to drop off when all Seb has to do is just survive on the front lines, be problematic, and the push power comes from Lycan and Death Prophet. This 3-core lineup of OG has just been given the space to hit so hard in that 20 to 35 minute mark, which is the classic OG. And even the CP out. Oh, he found him. Burrow strikes into the tree line. Catch out the target, Notel. He'll burn the shapeshift to run away.
So rotation is used there by Fnatic. They get scouted, they lose like an ultimate, but that's about it. Crossing the map on the other side. I mean, the biggest thing is just that Medusa has double the creeps killed than any other hero on the Dire team. Like, Fnatic cannot kill creeps rapidly. Dragon Knight can when he uses his level 2 ultimate, but you're not going to use that just to farm, so he's had to move around, getting kills to set tempo, and the hero they needed to shut down was Medusa this game, in all reality. They put a lot of focus on Lycan, they put some focus on Death Prophet, but they were never successful on Medusa.
Terrific scan, right exactly where Fnatic are running up at them, and they just back off, and Fnatic, like, they could have so many wards around Roshan. They have 3 wards covering the southern part of Roshan. So they know exactly where OG moves there, but that doesn't matter now. Like, they can't keep track of when OG bail off the lane.
That was another cool thing about them even hitting the shrine there. It wasn't really the best time to do so, especially because they knew Lycan ulti was used. But if they were just bottom, right next to Lycan, you know that, and then you go to hit the shrine, you can estimate about what time they're going to be across the map to even to get to the shrine area. So they can easily time the scan if they're thinking about it, and boom, another smoke is wasted. They're just making Fnatic cross the map endlessly against heroes that aren't Medusa. And in the meantime, Medusa slaps creeps and still gets more farm from them.
I think Fnatic are trying to stop these ancient stacks from being farmed up. They bring everybody together to try and fight it. Lycan still pressuring in bottom lane, and they start their farming of the Ancient stack. OG will back off from this. Fnatic want to have a fight. The Ancients are a good reason to do so. And here comes nighttime. They're a little bit scared. They back off. They didn't get enough of the Ancients. So then Glimpse.
Yep.
Punishment's there. Pylite Eye, come on home. As he gets silenced up. That level 3, he just cannot do anything, and the chase continues. Night Stalker keeping on the tails. He'll find Universe, and the rotation. Remember that pressure on bottom lane? It's now moved towards the mid. Notel howls, runs away. He perched up Universe pretty quickly, but they realize they don't want this fight. The rest of OG are too far away.
Oh, and Chaos Knight popped his ultimate. I think they spotted that, maybe with help from Night Stalker, and as a result, again, Envy's ultimate, he is now going to be a crappy Chaos Knight again, because he's just going to be his own hero. No BKB yet. It's, I believe, finished at least. So he's got it now, but
you've got a BKB Chaos Knight with 2 minutes on cooldown for your Phantasm, and your Undying just bought back as well. So that was the signal for OG to retreat.
Yeah. If Undyne could have gotten in that fight, if they could have committed and forced OG to take an engagement, it would have been all right. And maybe the mistake there was that Fnatic was kind of committing to a 3-stack or a 4-stack. I don't think taking stacks away from your opponents is going to give you the victory. They need to kill heroes. And because they had to sit there in a weak position, hitting neutrals, all it took was Night Stalker running forward, popping his ultimate, and that's the vision that you need to get a glimpse off. And instantly, they just picked a support. They didn't even want to go for a core. They're like, let's take this super easy kill without forcing a fight while we also outfarm them.
The Aegis times out, they drop down their sentry, so Arbeck can close the distance, going after Jirax. S4 pops the Exorcism, looking for the fight. Tombstone very close to the front line, so OG can deal with this. You see Seb doing the work while Arbeck locked inside the kinetic field with the Storm on top of him. No way to escape. This was meant to be Fnatic finding that weird window as the Aegis expired. But they do not get it. In fact, now they're defending their tier 2 tower in mid, and Eternal Envy a little bit too far forward. Does he have anything to try and survive this? With the BKB, he goes after Seb, but only breaks the Lincoln Spear with his stun. And the back, the wall, it's great from Universe. The clearance is there from Seb. He's doing the split shot just to ensure they can actually get rid of these units, but they're too strong with the pullback. Eternal Envy picks off S4, they turn for the Burrow Strike, and this is a big one. This is the huge one. Can they bring down the Deucer? It looks like it. Deucer's trying to do as much back, but it will finally fall.
Envy dice bottom? What just happened?
N0tail was trying to take the racks. Actually, he's doing it again. The units are attacking it. Eternal Envy, it's like he just jumped to bottom lane to try and defend against the Lycan, but there was just too much there.
I think he was teleporting bottom to try to stop Lycan from getting away, but he was being attacked the whole time by Medusa and didn't realize because he just disappeared. Then all of a sudden he's bottoming and dies to the Lycan, right-clicking him. Man, I mean, the whole fight started off really well again. Jarek's a little out of position, gets initiated on, gets picked off. But you really saw the tankiness of Medusa in that team fight. Envy actually does nothing against her. Like 60% of the damage, I believe, that is dealt to Medusa is just like flat reduced off the top. That's before armor reduction. So all the benefits of Chaos Knight are not there against Medusa.
But how do they still bring her down? Like, what was the strength of OG, of Fnatic, that actually made that work?
4 heroes. That's what it took.
That's it.
A lot of damage. You need a lot of raw damage or mana drain to deal with Medusa. That is the way to beat her.
Well, they've been able to do it once. Doing it again may be a little bit more difficult. I say once. She's died twice, but when that Skadi arrives too,
way tankier.
Yeah, way tankier. Also a lot harder to maneuver. How many times have you used in the Reality Rift? So here we go. So this is the Deucer.
It did help that she stood in the trees there.
Yeah.
Then all these melee. Okay, that was really just like illusions.
So this is Eternal Envy dying to the minions.
Yeah, not much he could do at that point when he was TB committed. But yeah, that was actually a lot of Medusa's positioning. Standing in the trees, all the melee heroes are running around trying to hit her, but they couldn't. So that helped. But I think the biggest thing that's killing Fnatic right now is this Halberd purchase on Dragon Knight. He had this great early game. He got the Sange almost immediately, and then all of a sudden he's got a Halberd and he needs a BKB. And there's been so many fights that they've tried to engage on, or times he's just been glimpsed back. If he's got a BKB, he can help decide when to take good fights. He can't be punished as much. Yes, he's not as strong, but man, he made a huge mistake grabbing this Halberd this game.
Is a really quick Roshan. Whoever wins this fight is going to absolutely love it. Deucer, Dragon Knight, Invis, a double Burrow Strike into a back wall. The Storm might cause a couple of problems, however, and maybe not. Envy, will the attack actually bring him down? He's on the run in the middle of it. The Stone Gates locks them all in. Seb doesn't have one life. Envy drags him back in and will bring him down with the help of Arbed. A 4-second time to S4. 2 heroes from OG are gone. The perfect Darkseer back wall, and OG were fighting themselves as well as Fnatic. And with that quick Roshan, they moved so fast there, Fnatic.
That was an insane fight for Fnatic there. They're all grouped up. They were able to put the full brunt of their heroes on 2 heroes that they needed to burst down. And the BKB on S4 did give some space because he was able to get his ultimate off, but there was just way too much stuff there to deal with. And they actually weren't able to keep Seb alive for once.
Okay, Jirax, I know you want to have a bit of a quick look in there. Back, pull him over.
He really wanted that one. That one felt worthy of his life in this case, but Aegis stays on Envy and Fnatic lives to continue the game. Now the gold is pretty even.
Yeah, that's a bit of a swing down. It hasn't been that much of an up and down game as far as net worth goes. It just feels what's been more effective with the items. Like having N0tail having this very fast push to work with S4, having the Deucer who just seems immortal has worked wonders, but everything's a little bit more better distributed across Fnatic's lineup.
Yeah, and again, they're finally getting to the place where they can take team fights consistently. With the Black King bar finishing on Abed in a short period of time, in fact, it's flying out right now. Now is when the team fights get really hard for OG.
It's going to get worse. They just had 2 fresh Observer wards deep watered, both caught out by Fnatic. So vision-wise, OG are dark on the dire side of the map. The only thing they have is the creep waves for vision.
Honestly, it feels like OG really need a gem this game. Like, every single team fight is beginning with Abed scouting out the enemy team using his Shadow Blade.
Stun, they found a target. S4 out of position, he can Yule Scepter, no he can't. Perma-stun holds him there.
And that's what's setting this up. Stun into stun, that's the only way that OG is losing team fights. So if they just have some vision advantage, that means that they can make it nighttime, get some vision advantage, so you see the guy with the Shadow Blade or them with Observer wards, and if you just control that, then they don't get to initiate on you in ideal terms. OG can take a straight 5v5, and then everything's gonna be fine. But now it feels like the game has been equalized a bit. And all the teamfight advantages from having a disruptor are kind of wasted outside of against supports.
Well, hello TP. Jirai gonna pop the nighttime as Armbed very quickly into that Shadow Blade. Wants a target. Envy moving very, very quickly with the Iron Shell on him too. They really would love to get a kill onto Medusa. The glimpse away. DK says no to that one. Unfortunately for them, the wall locks him out, but they burn the Stone Gaze. So BKB for Stone Gaze.
I think that a very good trade for OG, considering especially that Death Prophet was dead. So more than worth it. And now OG can turn around and maybe try to take a fight. It's a little scary, but with BKB down on Abed, I think this is a good opportunity for them.
He does have that cheese, and into the Invis they go. Medusa, they track the Lincoln Spear. Only 2 seconds on the stun by Envy. It's a nice wall and storm from Fly. Without that BKB, Envy at least can break free, but the back wall in the back lines is just too much chaos for OG to really get on top of. Once again, Seb becomes the priority target, and they get through him. Notal is now target number 2, running a long way north past the Roche Pit. He just wants to waste time. Fnatic, they're not taking the bait. They go towards the mid lane. They look for the target. They go for S4. BKB, defense is there from him, but they're going to go underneath the towers. It's a good double silence, and the Spirit Siphon will give him the life. Chaos Knight wants to keep this pressure up. He is low, but he's got the Aegis Immortal. They're happy. They're willing to take this kind of trade-off if they can make it work. And here's your stun. Burrow strike through. You'll hit the target now as S4 goes down, but under the T4 towers, the wall is nice from Fly, forcing the fight to continue from Fnatic, but I'm wondering who's really forced to do what. OG have lost so many heroes inside their base, and Envy pops the Aegis. This is it, as the tier 3 tower in mid lane will fall.
They just did not want to commit to that fully because they had dead heroes already. If S4 puts his ultimate down there, they would have been forced to disengage, but then he doesn't have exorcism. But him dying was maybe just as bad here, because now Fnatic's going to be able to get a Rax. They've been trying to fight back all game, but these little mistakes, especially great initiations from Fnatic, has given them all these openings. I really think they're lacking some detection here, maybe feeling a little bit overly reliant on having Necro 3 available.
They have to find a solution soon, OG. You may be 1 game up, but giving Fnatic some momentum and putting down into your own camp, heading to game 3 would not be what they want. They have to try and stabilize things.
The best way is going to be getting back to where they were, pushing out lanes, making sure that their opponents can't do these initiations. But with the BKB timings past at now with Fnatic, that means they're moving into their follow-up items, which is going to make them even stronger at team fighting. Almost a heart for Eternal Envy, and a Maelstrom, soon to be Mjolnir for Dragonite, means that he's just going to deal a lot of damage. And so far, Medusa just hasn't been effective enough. In some ways, it kind of feels like she needs a BKB, actually.
Yeah.
She's just getting chain stunned while being right.
She's not going for that, though. Quick buy says Aghanims.
This honestly can work as well, because if she does get unstunned for a second and she can throw a snake out there, every illusion dies, period. And they need to clear the Chaos Knight illusions, and then they need to kill the Tomb, and then they can deal with everybody else.
Yep. And they'll need that instant kill. Like, that heart is done on the Chaos Knight. More armor starts to arrive as well. This Darkseer is actually sitting on, okay, it's 42 armor. But Greaves, Shivas, Crimson.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty damn good when Universe has the Blink Dagger and keeps getting a fantastic initiation against OG, but OG looking for their own.
He's got AoE Surge as well, so.
They're smoked up looking for that fight. Eternal Envy, the bait. The ultimate bait. 4 point, okay, with Armlet on, he cracked 5.4k HP on that CK.
But OG's got to find the right initiation. It's not easy for them to take this engagement. That's why they put S4 in the front line. They want to force Fnatic, if possible, to go on him. Because if he gets the BKB off, the exorcism off, with Yules and silences and Spirit Siphon, that's when they can come in and turn fights. But they can't initiate easily outside of glimpsing people back into the engagement. So if Fnatic has good positioning, they should be able to weigh their BKB advantage.
Nortel does not want to be on this bottom lane. He's going to Shivas quickly. Pop some fresh walls if you want to. He's overstaying the welcome. Courier, what are you even bringing in? Observer was the Sunge. Well, the Bio Strike won't connect, but they've got so many redundant abilities there for Fnatic. Redundancies. Nortel will fall.
With the Ags on Sand King, his reach is so far right now. So easily get the pick off, and yeah, he did not read that movement.
They can force a buyback. Like 70 seconds on the sideline. DK wants to push in. They've got catapults with them. And OG, it'll be a hard defense. With the Mystic Snake bounce through, this will help out nicely, but the Burrow Strike, they went in very, very deep. The Wall Storm, it's absolutely perfect now. Can they hold them there? Can they actually get their Stone Gaze off as well? Yep, here she comes. Fnatic, will they stand their ground? Universe couldn't get the wall down. He's stoned at the moment. Now the wall goes down, but OG, they're moving out. They're trying to play the distance. Tombstone will start to cause problems. Seb's going to take care of that one, but they've lost a Death Prophet. No Exorcism. Tombstone will be the trade-off. More Mystic Snakes, but they drag Jirax in with that Reality Rift, who will fly away over the hills as the melee racks and the range racks under attack. Not as much as the Deucer. Envy and Arbed combo together. Deucer is falling. Deucer is almost fallen. Down to 20%. Make that 10%. Seb is down. He'll have to buy back to keep this defense going, but this is an expensive defense from OG. Can they get more? Glimpse is off cooldown, and here they do. They drag him back in again. They want Eternal Envy. The wall is up. The control needs to be there. Can't Reality Rift him out, but the Burrow Strike from DJ connecting on S4 as well as Seb. The split shot's doing its work, and Nortel, he's into the lines, looking for the fight. Jirax doesn't want that. He needs Nortel to bring down Envy, but this Crimson Guard, the control is so much, they just can't get through the shields of Fnatic. Maybe now, as the shields start to wear off, they can do it. The slow is there from the Skadi. Universe tries to rebuttal that by searching him out, but once again, Eternal Envy is the punching bag of Fnatic. 5k HP makes it so. The Fnatic, they only lose one here, and they may even get a kill. Jirax, he's being stalked in the night, stunned up, breathe fire down, Arbeck claims him. Now Fnatic are willing to go home.
They kill his catapult, it's gonna go for the, oh, they glyph it!
No. The glyph actually keeps that catapult alive! Are you kidding me?
Oh man, if they could have held that, that would have been regen probably to full, as long as they keep the lane pushed out. But at this point, OG just doesn't have damage. They can't kill any of these heroes. They just stand in the front, continue to go on the enemy, and it just always feels like OG is scared to fully commit. With the Crimson Guard and the Shivas and the Greaves, like, everybody just stays alive against Lycan. Lycan feels like he does no damage, and Medusa feels like she does almost no damage.
It's when you ask, like, you were looking at the Aghanim Scepter from Medusa. She's now taken that off the table. She's looking at Butterfly, but I'm wondering if it's even Rapier territory. You need something stronger from this OG lineup. They're just not in that right spot. Speaking of that, the Vac, stun, S4, initiating on Nortel. He'll Shiva's Guard and run in as well, but this just means they go one by one, changing the targets. Seb in through the rear. The Storm is out, but it really just keeps the fight split up. You'll lose Fly. Nortel can't find a target, and now Seb's fighting up against himself. The split shot at Darkseer Illusion. They just want to run, but Jirax, not where you want to be. The Stone Gaze must be committed as Seb, he'll TP out the Burrow Strike! DJ catching the escaping Deucer means a very dead Deucer. That's a next level play. That's a Deucer who is still very difficult to kill, but it's very difficult to revive when it's on cooldown. A 2-minute window opening. This should be Fnatic taking game 2.
Running straight down mid. I don't think Nightstalker's gonna be able to defend this, and that's it. Man, what a hard game for Fnatic. It was really an uphill battle. It looked quite bad till the mid game, but all of a sudden, OG was just falling apart there.
It's that survivability that just arrived for Fnatic. It was the ability to get the pickoffs as well that just started to fuel the bank accounts of Fnatic to get these items they required to stand toe-to-toe with OG. And eventually, they just mowed him over.
And it was just a couple engagements. I mean, Fnatic, I felt like they smoked 18 times this game, but they just constantly were looking for fights. They eventually got the chain stuns they needed on the heroes they needed and just overwhelmed Medusa.
Well, I can tell you it wasn't 18, it was 6 smokes they ended up using, and it was a great usage of it. Fnatic, they're back in this. We have a deciding game coming soon.
Indeed we do, Toby, yes. So it's 1-1, all square between Fnatic and OG. We'll get the thoughts of our panel members once more. We're back with Piri and Flax, with Nahaz, and with Blitz. Blitz, let's start with you. That's a tough game for Fnatic. They ground that one out.
Yeah, I feel like they had the better draft, but it looked a lot harder than it had to be. I felt like OG made a very good showing of it. They kept it close. They did a very good job of getting Seb that farm early on and putting the pressure on, because when you have a Dusa on the other team, you're always thinking about her, and that made Fnatic make some panic moves, I feel. But overall, a lot better, a lot more cohesive lineup. We said that DJ needed to be able to play a more free game where all the pressure isn't on him. When you give him the Sand King and he's got other follow-up stuns, he performs every single time.
Yeah, he was fantastic in this game. And Alan, yeah, it was a bit of a grind for Fnatic, but made difficult by OG's play as well. We should give credit to OG for that, but at the same time, there wasn't enough damage on OG, was there?
Yeah, it wasn't just about the damage either. As Will highlighted during his analysis of the draft, there was just felt like there was so much more playmaking on the side of Fnatic. They had so many more options going into this fight. And Universe starts here, 119 career wins, tied with S4 on Puck, both in the top 10 player hero combos of all time. 40 minutes into the game, he was 4-0-16. He had the highest net worth on both sides of the map. And Crimson Guard did so much work in these games, even defending on the barracks. At some point you wonder, do you need a nullifier just to purge off a Crimson so you can kill a hero?
Ted, you were right again.
No, I was wrong.
No, you were right, Ted.
Okay.
We'll fix it in post.
Right, yes. Absolutely.
Well done, Ted.
Thank you.
Brilliant predictions. Every time I've
Pointing
worked with
at a
you,
draft.
you've got every single draft and every single game prediction right. That's an incredible
Almost
record.
unbelievable, isn't it?
It really
I know,
is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'm kind of glad there's a game 3. I kind of wanted
Me
to
too.
see a game 3. I don't want to see a bunch of 2-0s in a row. I like a game 3, and that'll be hype.
Yeah, I mean, and it should be, Will, because I don't necessarily feel like we've had the spectacular from either of these two teams yet. It's been quite grindy, hasn't it, from both of them?
Yeah, it's definitely been a grit and grind series. Nothing seems like it's coming easy to either team. It feels like sometimes the plays are a little bit sloppy, but sometimes you're just going to have to win like that. And I feel like this is kind of Fnatic's thing, where they sort of drag you down and play with you in the mud. Sometimes it just sort of happens like that.
I guess the good side, Alan, is they're doing what you wanted them to do. They're playing tighter, they're playing with less mistakes, they're not being so sloppy as they were before, which does negate the fact that we get those funky moments of dropped rapiers or whatever it might be.
And look, this is the argument, okay? You look at that team and you go, boy, Abed's got to be the best technical player. Why in the world are you putting him on a Dragon Knight? The answer is he's hitting the tier 2 bottom tower with his Dragon Knight at 15 minutes into the game. That's something that has been lacking with Fnatic's games all season long, and it's something maybe due to AUI coach, maybe due a little bit differences in their draft that they've fixed in these last couple games.
Yeah. From an OG point of view? Not too worried about that game? Or are they?
I don't know. I think that the draft was kind of hard for them to win. I feel like they played that game pretty well, but there were some time periods where I felt like they just got separated in fights. Like the Dusa takes forever to take down. Like even when they were able to get on top of her like 4 versus 1, it still took a while, which usually means that positionally something went wrong. Because she was often isolated like on one side of the fight. You had other people separated on the other. And that's why I think that Fnatic is also very good with this Darkseer, because they're so good at using the wall to sort of force the fight around that area, make sure that there's no help coming in, because nobody just wants to walk through the wall.
I was expecting with the Night Stalker Disruptor combo that they would be leading the engagements and the positioning and dragging people to where they wanted, but they absolutely couldn't get it going. I think Disruptor, when you're behind, is nowhere near as potent as when you're in front.
Night Stalker too. These are two supports that need to play
They
from
want
ahead.
to be on the front foot, and they were not.
And you saw during the first nighttime, right? I mean, Jerax died solo to Abed's DK. I was wondering whether he thought that his Lycan might have a point in how to exploit that synergy between the Night Stalker and the Lycan, but nope.
Yeah, tough game. All right, thank you very much, gents. We're going to head to a break right now. When we come back, our final game in this best-of-3 quarterfinal will be upon us. Don't go too far away. Things are just about starting to heat up. It's Fnatic 1, OG 1.
This just means they go one by one, changing the targets. Seb in through the rear. The Storm is out, but it really just keeps the fight split up. You'll lose Fly. Notar can't find a target, and now Seb's fighting up against himself. The split shot at Darkseer Illusion. They just want to run, but Jirax, not where you want to be. The Stone Gaze must be committed as Seb, he'll TP out the Pyro Strike. DJ catching the escaping Dusa means a very dead Dusa. That's a next level play. That's a Dusa who is still very difficult to kill. But
Hello, friends. If you want to play against S4 in a 1v1 mid matchup, now's your chance.